Only about one out of every four women ever ask for business funding to keep their business going. And that statistic shocked the heck out of me after I did some research in regards to the keynote presentation that I did a couple weeks ago at the Achieve Business System uh, Biz Explosion Conference. So here's what happened, and let me break it down for you. So I was the opening keynote presentation for the Achieve Systems Biz Explosion Conference, June 12th, and about 2 weeks ago. And I got up, I did my presentation. 45 minutes later, I literally had men in the audience saying, I want to talk to you today. Let's set up a time to meet before the conference is over tomorrow. Booking calls on my calendar. Whereas the women were like, nice job. You truly inspired me. Oh my God, I loved your story. Oh, that's so amazing. I can't wait to be you. And this was the theme the entire weekend out of an audience of 400 people, about 50-50 men and women. And so it was just spinning in my mind for a few days. And so this is what I did. So, hey there, I'm Salen. I am a scale and systems strategist for service-based women business owners. Yes, majority is women, but I do work with some men. What I help them do is remove themselves from the operations of their business. And here's why. I am seeing way too many women who want to scale their business, start a new business, so they need to step away from their primary business and have it hold, or prepare their business for a future sale. And what's happening is their primary business is not set up to scale, step away, or sell. And what happens is the business is requiring more and more of their time. That's where I step in. And we work together anywhere from 90 days to 1 year, depending upon your needs. And we really put in the 4 core pillar foundation that every single successful business utilizes. Think Amazon, Apple, Airbnb. My business uses them and yours should too. But most small business owners have skipped over because they don't see the value in it because they're so focused on just getting in more revenue. So here's what happened. I went to that conference. My mind was totally blown all weekend because my calendar was booked with so many appointments with men business owners, while the women were like, hey. And so later that week, I went to an event, one of my favorite events here, networking. And I told them, I said, this is what I saw. What do you think it is? And what the one man in the room said was he said, I think the reason is our men are just more programmed to take risks. And the women in the room said something totally different, that women have been programmed to figure it out alone, quietly, because there's always something else that needs to be taken care of, right? Women have been programmed to be the caregiver. We care for everyone else. And so I started doing some research in preparation for this week's newsletter, and I found some really interesting statistics. So women are 50% more likely than men to close a business for personal or family reasons, not performance ones. So not because they're burnt out, not because they lack funding, not because all of these things, for personal or family reasons, meaning something was pulling at them personally or within their family that caused them to have to close their business. And that got my mind thinking, like, okay, this is really interesting. And so why don't these women invest in help in order to get the support they need to keep their business running? And here's the thing that I found super interesting is that Women are 3 out of every 4 women are life coaching clients in this country. 3 out of 4. So we're used to asking for help when we need help in our life. But when we relabel the help to business help as an investment and not personal development help, guess what? The stats go down. Women do not invest in themselves or invest in their businesses as much as men do. So more women invest in themselves personally, but then do not invest in their business, whereas men spend the money investing in their business, but do not invest in themselves personally. And when you think about the big picture, right, this is so true. We see this all the time. But why is this happening and how do we fix this? Because here's the thing, there's no right and wrong, right? Like not everyone needs personal, coaching and life coaching, and not everyone needs business coaching, right? But why do men feel it is smarter to invest quicker, better, faster than women when women are programmed to figure it out alone? This is the problem that's coming up because what I'm seeing as a business coach, strategist, whatever you want to say, is that so many women say to me, Salen, I think I'm going to figure it out on my own. And then once I get the money, I'll invest in help, which is backwards. Men know that if they need money, they're going to invest first, figure out where to find that money because they know that investment is going to help them get quicker, better, faster results. That's the difference. We as women have been programmed to figure things out on our own, where men have been programmed to ask for help, delegate, get the support they need, ask for the business, and do all of those different kinds of things. And this is why men tend to do better in business and have a much better, stronger network, is because we've just been programmed differently. Now, here's the thing that I think why this makes it so hard for me is because when I started my first business in 2007, I purchased a franchise, right? And so many people said to me, why are you buying a franchise? Like you could figure this out on your own. Actually, my boyfriend was one of them, right? He's a guy. And I thought that was really interesting, right? But here's the thing. I was 26 years old. I knew nothing about business. I didn't come from a business background, but I knew a franchise was designed for someone to be able to take that business in a box and be able to duplicate that into their territory and have success. So when I looked around and said, well, that person did it, and that person did it, and that person did it, and no one is any different than me or has any better skill sets than I do, right? Then why can't I do it with that business in a box? And so I invested a lot of money that I didn't have back in 2006 when I signed on the line the last 2 days of the year and purchased that franchise because I knew it would get me quicker, better, faster results. And guess what happened? It did. Right? Here's what I saw. In 2009, I did the sales and marketing in my business for the first 2 years. And there was a local networking group that was specifically for the healthcare senior care industry. And in 2009, there was this explosion of home care companies. And me and my salesperson that I was still training would go to these monthly meetings. And I swear, every single month, there was a new company that was like, hi, I'm the new home care company. And this went on for like 2 years. So many of those companies, actually, all of those companies were mom and pops, right? So just small business owners doing it on their own. Many of them went to a few meetings and never came back because they remained small or they didn't make it in business. Some of them had some consistency and made it longer term, but they stayed very small. They couldn't get the traction we were doing while we were blowing the doors off for them. We hit our first million in revenue in 2010, just 3 years later, when the majority of these businesses were doing more like $30,000, $50,000 a year. And so I bought that business in a box for that exact reason, because I knew that they had a proven business model that all I had to do was just duplicate it. And when I duplicated it, I would get those results. And I did, right? I also got some burnout and we went on and fixed that, but I was able to get those results. All of those other businesses, when I look back now, that did it on their own and didn't buy a franchise, were women owned. All of those women wanted the level that I had grown to, but they had done it on their own for whatever reason. Maybe they just didn't know about franchises. Maybe they thought they could do it on their own. I don't know what the reason was, right? But because I invested in buying a proven path, a blueprint, a roadmap, a business in a box, my business grew so much faster than theirs. We were number one in the territory within year one, and we continued to blow the doors off of every single other company. And there was so many companies in our little tiny area, and it was just because we had the support and the path. And so what I want to leave you with today is I want you to think about, if you're a woman in business, what have you tried to DIY? Because that's what you've been programmed to do. You know what? I'm going to figure it out, right? We do this with everything. I'm going to figure out how to make this myself. I'm going to figure out, like, I saw this nice thing, but I'm going to make it my own, right? To save money, to do all of these different kinds of things. What are you DIYing in your business, your website, trying to figure out your offer, trying to figure out, how to sell, trying to figure out who your ideal client is, trying to get your social media to convert, trying to figure out systems and client onboarding and how to scale and all of those different kinds of things and how to hire someone. You're DIYing all of these things. Has it been months? Has it been years? Are you still throwing spaghetti at the wall? Are you where you want to be? If you're not, it's probably because you've been brainwashed to DIY it and not like men who are programmed to ask for help. This isn't a men against women conversation. This is a conversation about something that's been programmed in your brain and you just didn't realize it. And now is your opportunity to say to yourself, do I want to keep doing it myself and struggling and not getting the results? That's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. Or is it time for me to start thinking differently, start thinking like other people are in this world, and start taking some investments so I can get those bigger, higher returns that I truly, truly want for myself and my family and my life? When we make smart investments in proven systems, we're going and we do the work. Doing the work is important, right? You can't just invest and hope for a magic pill. There is no magic pill. Then you're going to get the results because the person who is giving you that blueprint, that path, has proved that not only probably they've done it, but they have other clients who have done it too. So I want to leave you with this. If you're someone right now, a woman who's been in business a year plus, and you're not where you want to be, and you still feel like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall, I want to invite you to book a scale strategy session. You can book it with myself, or you can book it with my team member, Isabella, and one of us will get on the phone with you, and we will walk through the 4 core pillars that every single successful business utilizes. My business utilizes them. Amazon, Apple, Airbnb, they utilize them too. And the reason those four core pillars are there is because they are the business foundation, not fundamentals, right? Like we're not talking how to set up a business. We're talking the business foundation that everything you build is on top of these four core pillars that you need to learn if you truly want to be a successful business owner, right? DIY is great for a lot of things, but if you've been DIYing it for 12 months plus and you're not where you want to be and you still feel that you're struggling to get that clarity, book the free complimentary call. We'll talk about where you're stuck, which pillar you need the most, and how that's going to support your growth. And then if it's something that you want to invest in, one of the programs that I offer, great, we'd love to have you. If not, you can walk away knowing what the pillars are, knowing which one you need to do more in, and then put a plan together on how to make that happen. So comment scale if you want the link to book a call. And then if you have any questions or this comes up for you or any thoughts, I encourage you to put them in the comments and let's have a discussion about why this mindset, this DIY mindset, is so prone for women and not as much for men. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Happy July 1st, everyone. I will see you next week.